Let's do this! Hey everyone! Welcome back to City Wonders. Today we're exploring the vibrant city of Brussels, Belgium. This place is like the love child of Paris and Amsterdam. It's got that charming European vibe, stunning architecture, delicious food, and a whole lot of character. We're gonna hit up all the must-see spots, from the iconic Grand Place to the quirky mannequin Piz, and even that giant atom thing everyone takes pictures of. I'm talking waffles, chocolate, and maybe even a beer or two along the way. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell for more amazing city adventures. Let's get this show on the road. Alright guys, buckle up. We're starting our Brussels adventure in the heart of the city, Grand Place. And trust me, the name doesn't lie. This place is grand. First things first, can we talk about the architecture for a sec? It's like stepping into a fairy tale. Gothic towers, gold trim, intricate details everywhere you look. It's seriously impressive. I'm talking buildings that look like giant, ornate wedding cakes. And the best part? It's not just a museum piece. People actually live and work here. Local guide. This entire square is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and for good reason. Back in the day, this was the center of trade for Brussels. And you can feel that history as you walk through the square. It's like stepping back in time, except with better coffee and way more tourists taking selfies. Speaking of coffee, you gotta grab a cup at one of the cafes lining the square. Seriously, pull up a chair, soak in the atmosphere, and watch the world go by. It's the perfect spot for people watching, especially if you're into street performers, musicians, and the occasional pigeon trying to steal your waffle. And let's be real, you can't come to Grand Place without talking about the waffles. Belgium is famous for them, and for good reason. These things are next level. Crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, and you can top them with whatever your heart desires. Whipped cream, chocolate sauce, fresh fruit, go wild. But Grand Place is more than just food and pretty buildings. It's also home to some pretty cool events throughout the year, like, have you ever seen a flower carpet made entirely of begonias? No? Well, get this, every 2 years they cover the entire square in a massive flower carpet. It's insane! Trust me, you could spend hours just wandering around Grand Place, soaking up the atmosphere. It's one of those places that just has a special energy. The kind of energy that makes you want to stay a little longer, explore a little deeper, and maybe even come back again someday. Okay guys, we're leaving Grand Place, but trust me, our next stop is just as epic, if not more so. Get ready to go full-on sci-fi because we're headed to the Atomium. This place is like stepping into a futuristic dream. Picture this, a giant, shiny atom, magnified 165 billion times. It's like a colossal molecular structure brought to life. That's the Atomium in a nutshell. It's a marvel of modern architecture and design. It was built for the 1958 World's Fair, and honestly, it looks like something straight out of the Jetsons. It's a timeless piece of futuristic art. History buff. Now I know what you're thinking. Storm, it's just a big metal structure. What's the big deal? But there's so much more to it. But here's the thing. This thing is massive. It's not just big, it's absolutely gigantic. And the views? Let's just say they're worth the price of admission alone. You get a bird's eye view of the entire city. You can take an elevator all the way to the top, and on a clear day, you can see for miles. It's like being on top of the world. We're talking panoramic views of Brussels, the suburbs, and even the airport. It's a visual feast for the eyes. It's a great way to get your bearings and appreciate the city from a whole new perspective. The sunsets from here are simply magical. But the Atomium isn't just about the views. There's a whole world inside waiting to be explored. Inside, it's actually a museum with rotating exhibitions about, you guessed it, atoms and science stuff. It's a treasure trove of knowledge. Don't worry, it's not all boring textbooks and equations. The exhibits are interactive and engaging. They actually do a cool job of making science fun and accessible to everyone. It's a place where learning meets entertainment. My favorite part? The permanent exhibition about the 1958 World's Fair. It's a nostalgic journey through time. They've got all these vintage photos and videos that give you a glimpse into what life was like back then. It's like opening a time capsule. It's like taking a trip back in time, minus the poodle skirts and cheesy jingles. It's a fascinating look at history. And of course, you can't forget about the photo ops. This place is a photographer's dream. I'm talking epic selfies with the Atomium in the background. Artsy shots of the spheres reflecting the sunlight, the whole 9 yards. It's Instagram gold. This place was practically made for Instagram. Every angle offers a new and exciting shot. So whether you're a science nerd, a history buff, or just looking for some killer views, the Atomium is definitely worth checking out. It's a must-see attraction. Just be prepared to have your mind blown, literally and figuratively. It's an experience you won't forget. There are tons of stories about how the mannequin Piz came to be. Some say he's a tribute to a little boy who saved the city from a fire by, well, peeing on it. Imagine the bravery and quick thinking of that little hero. Others say he's the son of a wealthy merchant who got lost and was found. You guessed it, relieving himself. This tale adds a touch of humor and humanity to his legend. Whatever the real story is, one thing's for sure. This little guy knows how to make a splash. S2. Yep, you heard that right. And the craziest part? This tiny dude is a national icon. He's been around since the 1600s, and he's survived wars, revolutions, and even Napoleon's troops. Talk about resilience. Narrator. Okay folks, it's time to meet the most famous and arguably the most peculiar resident of Brussels mannequin Piz. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This guy is literally a statue of a little boy peeing into a fountain. But wait, there's more.
And speaking of splashes, did I mention that he has a wardrobe? I'm not kidding! This little dude has over 1,000 outfits. Seriously, they dress him up for every occasion, national holidays, sporting events, you name it. He's been a firefighter, a doctor, even Santa Claus. The creativity knows no bounds. They even have a museum dedicated to his outfits. It's wild. Imagine the effort and love put into each tiny costume.
Now, I know what you're thinking, Storm. Isn't it a little weird to get so worked up over a statue of a peeing boy? And you know what? You're not wrong, but that's part of what makes Brussels so great. It doesn't take itself too seriously. So yeah, the mannequin Piz is a little strange, but that's part of his charm. He's a quirky symbol of the city's unique character. He's a reminder to not take life too seriously and to always be down for a little fun, even if it's a little bit weird. So next time you're in Brussels, make sure to pay him a visit. Alright guys, after that last stop we need some serious dose of grandeur. So we're heading to the Royal Palace of Brussels, the official digs of the Belgian monarchy. And let me tell you, this place is straight out of a fairy tale. We're talking massive columns, intricate carvings, golden gates, the whole shebang. It's the kind of place that makes you want to walk around with your pinky out, sipping tea and talking in a British accent.
Now here's the thing, the Belgian royal family doesn't actually live here full time. They use this palace for official events, receptions and all that fancy stuff. But don't worry, you can still get a taste of the royal life. During the summer months, the palace opens its doors to the public. Yep, you can actually go inside and wander around the staterooms, check out the art collection, and pretend you're a guest at a royal ball.
But even if you're not there during visiting hours, there's still plenty to see. The palace is surrounded by these beautiful gardens, perfect for a leisurely stroll or a picnic lunch. And if you're lucky, you might even catch the changing of the guard ceremony. It's a whole production with marching bands, soldiers in full regalia, and enough pomp and circumstance to make your head spin. It's definitely worth catching if you can. But honestly, even just standing outside the palace gates, taking in the sheer scale of it all, is an experience in itself. It's a reminder that Brussels is a city steeped in history, and even today it's still home to royalty. Alright guys, get ready to unleash your inner child because our next stop is a celebration of all things comics, the Belgian Comic Strip Center. Now I know what you're thinking. Comics? Storm? Are we five? But trust me on this one. Belgium has a long and proud history with comic books. We're talking about the birthplace of Tintin, the Smurfs, and a whole bunch of other iconic characters.
This place is a comic book lover's paradise. It's a museum, a library, and an art gallery all rolled into one. You can explore the history of Belgian comics, from the early days of newspaper strips to the modern graphic novels that are taking the world by storm. They've got original artwork, rare editions, and interactive exhibits that'll make you feel like you've stepped right into the pages of your favorite comic.
You can learn about the artists, the writers, and the creative process behind some of the most beloved characters in comic book history. And if you're feeling inspired, they even have a workshop space where you can try your hand at creating your own comic book masterpiece. Who knows, maybe you'll be the next Hurge, but even if you're not a die-hard comic book fan, the Belgian Comic Strip Center is still worth a visit. It's a celebration of creativity, storytelling, and the power of imagination. Plus, it's just plain fun. Thanks for joining me on this tour of Brussels. From the grandeur of Grand Place to the quirkiness of Mannequin Piss, this city has it all. We've explored stunning architecture, delved into Belgian history, and even unleashed our inner child at the Comic Strip Center. Brussels is a city that truly has something for everyone. Whether you're a history buff, a foodie, or just looking for a fun and vibrant city break, Brussels should be at the top of your travel list. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an adventure. See you next time on City Wonders.